Hey guys, today I want to talk about probably the most asked question I've been getting from my friends. They've just beat the campaign and they're basically not sure what the heck do I do next. Now, that's not to say that there isn't content to do. There's actually a ton of content to do, but I'll be showing you basically once you beat the campaign what the end game content is, what end game content you should be doing, and how that's going to help progress your character into harder content. So, first and foremost, you beat the campaign. You should be right around level 45 or so. Your goal is going to be to complete the first capstone dungeon. Now, it is at level 50, and you have to be doing it on World Tier 2. So, we're on World Tier 2 right now. I was able to do it at around level 45, but it's going to depend on your build and how strong you feel. If you're fully optimized, you might be able to do it even lower. But generally, that should be your first goal. If not, just keep grinding more gear or more XP until you feel comfortable to do it. But yeah, once you've completed your caps on level 50, it's going to be a hard boss at the end. But once you've been able to do that, you're going to unlock World Tier 3 Nightmare difficulty. And you can see a ton of stuff unlock. Sacred items and uniques, Nightmare sigils, Helltides, as well as champion monsters. And most importantly, you're going to be getting a ton more experience for harder mobs. So let's go to World Tier 3. We'll switch right here at the Kyovashad World Tier statue. So you're going to switch to World Tier 3. And now the game is basically, we got a lot that we can do. So, first, and probably the most important thing that you should be focusing on is that now that you're in World Tier 3, you're going to be able to get Sacred Gear. Sacred Gear is it's basically a new set. So, look at this one right here. It's called Sacred Pants. This is basically the next tier that drops from World Tier 3, and it is way, way, way better than the normal pieces that you already had. So basically, your goal is going to be replace all of your gear with new sacred pieces that are much stronger. And then your next big kind of major goal is going to be this one right here, the level 70 capstone dungeon that's found kind of right here in the middle of the map. And just like the last capstone dungeon, this one's going to be level 73. It's going to be a lot harder. Well, not a lot harder, but it's going to be harder than what you might be used to. And you can do it early. I did that one at around level 60 to 65 or so, but I did have a really good build. So just keep that in mind. That's your next big major goal, because when you complete that, you're going to unlock World Torment 4, which is going to drop Ancestral items. Ancestral items are the tier above Sacred. So, for example, this Ancestral Sword right here is going to have even better stats and really be some of the best items in the game. Now, how do we basically progress? We unlock World Tier 3. What do we do to get there? And how do we keep building our character? You have a couple options, and I'll start with probably the best one, and that's Helltides. So Helltides come out roughly around every hour, and then they're down for an hour, and then they're up for an hour. But the Helltide is great. What we can do is in the Helltide, there's going to be monsters that are 2 levels higher than you, so it is a little bit difficult. But by killing monsters in the Helltide, you're going to be getting a currency called, I think they're called Lucky or Aberrant Cinders or something like that. Aberrant Cinders you'll be able to use to gamble in the Helltide for chests to get specific pieces that have a much better chance of dropping. So the Helltide's up in this area right now. We can see it's got this dark red glow. So let's just go and kill some monsters. And again, we got 20 minutes to play in the Helltide. Obviously, we're not going to spend the whole time in there. But if I find some monsters, if I find some packs, I'll start killing them in here. And you can see I have my little counter for how many Aberrant Cinders I have. And I'll keep going, keep killing stuff, just to demonstrate. Now, inside of the Helltide, how do we spend these cinders? You're going to want to find these chests. So, for example, we have this Tortured Gift of Weaponry. Let's go over there. Basically, what this allows us to do is gamble for specific pieces. Every single chest will basically tell you what it is, whether that's a weapon, a helmet, boots, etc. So by heading over there, you'll be able to spend. You have to spend within the hour duration of the Helltide. If you don't, you're actually going to lose them all. In addition, dying inside the Helltide will also cause you to lose, I believe, half of your cinders. So you can see here, let's clear this out so you don't get hit. This one's going to require 150 cinders. If we want to gamble for a heavy weaponry, this is going to be your 2-handers. We would have to go and collect 150 cinders from the Helltide to actually be able to unlock it. There's also going to be a ton of side events inside the Helltide, so look out for those. Definitely try to find mystery chests. These give you, it's not determined what piece of gear it gives you. It gives you a bunch of random ones, but it does have really good drop rates. It's going to give you a lot of pieces, especially if you're just starting off. And you can find that, you can just simply go to, I think helltides.com, and there's going to be all the information there about where the mystery chest is based on where it spawns. Now, next up, probably the feature that is most recognizable to these kind of games, that's going to be your nightmare dungeons. So once you hit world tier 3, you're going to start being able to drop nightmare dungeons. These start at tier 1 and they go all the way up to tier 100. Tier 100, crazy hard. Now, the way that you want to know of like what tier roughly should I be doing is if you take your level, so my current level is 98, and then you subtract 54, that's going to give you the appropriate, basically the appropriate level for your level. So 98 minus 54 is, let me do that math, it's 54. So I want to be doing tier 44. Sorry, that's tier 44. So I want to be doing tier 44. That's going to be roughly my level. And you want to be doing about 1 to 3 levels, somewhere in that range. You don't want to go too high or too low. Well, you obviously can go higher if you want, but it's not going to give you, I don't think that the rewards are quite as proportional. So you kind of want to stay within your zone. In addition, if you are doing nightmare sigils, it's really good to try to find multiple of them. So here I have like a Moggen's Work nightmare sigil. And then here's another Moggen's Work nightmare sigil. And you can see that I can actually do both of these. I would be able to do these back to back. All right, so what I can very easily do is just activate my nightmare sigil. It will also show you every single nightmare sigil has one like good affix. So in this case, it's gold find. I get some more gold, but it can also be something like battled hardened, where you're getting some damage reduction for every health missing. And there's also going to be some negative affixes as well. Something like a lightning storm, where lightning is going to do damage. Monsters do more cold damage. And probably one of the worst ones is going to be resource burn, where monsters are actually going to drain a part of your resource, which is pretty awful. So what you can do is you can look for sigils that have kind of good affixes that aren't going to dramatically affect your build. So let's go ahead and open this one. And if we go to the map right away, it will actually show us where it is. Okay, it's right here. I like to put a little thing on it, put a little pin on it, and then just kind of go to like the nearest town. So now that I'm at the dungeon, you can see it has this like demonic red glow to it to show that it is a nightmare dungeon. And I'll be able to go ahead and step inside. And then inside of the dungeon, you will also be able to see your affixes as well, simply by opening up the map. Now, the reason why we like to do nightmare dungeons is, first off, these should give the best experience in the game once it gets changed. But in addition to that, it's also going to be how we upgrade our Paragon glyphs, right? So things like Exploit, Wrath, Martial, etc. You can upgrade these to different levels, and I'll show you that at the end of the dungeon. So I'm going to just go ahead and finish this dungeon and go right to the end. Now, it's good to know while doing these dungeons that you do only get a limited amount of revives. There's no time limit. But in this one, for example, I only have 4 revives. Anything level 1 through 20, you're going to have 12 revives. And then anything 20 to 100, you're going to have only 4 revives. So just be careful. This is going to mean that you can't just go and you can't just die. You do have to have enough survivability to make it through the dungeon. And right here at the end of the dungeon, I finish the boss. And you can see I get this nice little protective space around me. And the Glyph Stone. This Glyph Stone is where you're going to upgrade all of your glyphs. So if I go into here, I have all my glyphs available, and I can upgrade my Martial. And you can see it goes from 115. If I upgrade it, it's going to get a level, and now it's 120. And I can continue to allocate more experience. So this is basically how you're going to upgrade those glyphs for your Paragon board. One of the most important things to think about is that when a Paragon hits level 15, it's going to get bonus range. So for example, if I was to put like Blood Feeder in here, you can see it's got a smaller range because this one's only level 2. If I put Undaunted, it's got higher, it's got level 15, so it's actually going to be a bigger range. So you do want to try to get your glyphs to level 15, and that's all going to be done in the Nightmare Dungeon. All right, next let's talk about the Tree of Whispers. This is very similar to the bounty system in Diablo 3. Basically, there's going to be a bunch of things on the map that you can kind of see. They're kind of blurred out right now because I've already finished my 10 Tree of Whispers. But if I go over here to the Tree of Whispers, I'll be able to turn it in. You can see I got 10 out of 10 Grim Favors, and it's giving me an option of 3 rewards. Sometimes you'll even get a greater collection, which just means that it's a higher chance, higher rarity. So let's go ahead and grab that one. It's going to give us our little boost, give us a bunch of stuff. This is also typically where you'll get your first Nightmare Sigil by doing the Tree of Whispers, but from there, Nightmare Sigils will drop even more Nightmare Sigils, so that's where you get them. And now, how do we actually get the 10 Grim Favors? Well, you can see that just like we have all of these little, I guess, like bounties, that you can have small ones that are worth 1, you can have medium ones that are worth 3, and then you'll also sometimes find like a dungeon that's worth 5. The nice thing is that let's say you have 8 out of 10 and then you do a dungeon, even though you're going up to 13 out of 10, it will actually carry over when you go and you turn in your bounty at the Trio Whispers. However, once you're at 10, you cannot get any more. So that's a Tree of Whispers. You can see they're kind of all over the map in different areas. I would personally never really go out of your way to do them. I don't think that they're that good on their own, nor are the rewards particularly good. But let's say you need to do a dungeon anyways, doing it when there's a Tree of Whispers, or let's say that there's like a Helltide. Sometimes you'll get Helltide and the Tree of Whispers in the same area. And at that point, if it's not too far out of the way, you might as well do it for the bonus and then just turn it in at the Tree of Whispers whenever you get 10, just so you can get the extra rewards. Now, if you have not finished your Renown grind, I would very, very much recommend to do so as soon as possible. You can see your Renown in the 5 regions just simply by going to Tab and then hitting W. That's going to give you, your Renown. Now, how do we get Renown? You can get it through waypoints, strongholds, side quests, exploring the map, doing your side dungeons, and collecting your altars of Lilith. Now, you don't need to get all of these. You can see that I have all 5 of the rewards claimed, even though I still have plenty of side dungeons and altars and some side quests left to do. But you should definitely try to at least get the 2,000 Renown, because this is going to give you 2 skill points, the potion capacity, max obols, which is kind of not that meaningless, or that's not that meaningful. And then you got the Paragon points, which 4 Paragon points for 5 regions, it's actually 20 Paragon points. This is actually a pretty massive increase in power. So I would definitely recommend doing this as soon as possible. You don't want to be like level 90 getting this done. The nice thing is also that the Renown does carry on to your future characters in the Eternal Realm. However, it will reset when the season comes. Doing your Renown can be a little bit annoying. However, you can speed this up by looking up where the altars of Lilith is. That's going to help a lot. And in addition to that, you can also do side dungeons with a group. So let's say you have 4 people and each person does a side dungeon. You're actually all going to get credit for what everybody is doing, even if you're not inside the dungeon when it was completed. This is essentially allowing you to complete it like 4 times faster and really get all of those side dungeons and the Renown done a lot faster. So definitely go ahead and try that out. Now, another really important grind you're going to be doing is just getting your level up. You can see I'm level 98, and level 100 will take you a lot of time. So if you want to specifically farm experience, which is not a bad idea because it does give you a lot of power in your Paragon board, every level, or every 25% of a level, you're getting a new Paragon point. So 50 levels is 200 Paragon points. That's a lot to spend on. What you can actually do is farm dungeons. Probably the best one is Uldur's Cave, where you can just go in, complete the dungeon, and then teleport out and either reset it by logging out or by leaving a party and getting back in. And you'll just spam this dungeon over and over again. Other really good ones are the Blind Burrows over here in Hawazar. This one's the Spider Cave. And then kind of like the famous Champion's Demise. This is probably one of the more popular ones that a lot of people will spam. This is how the world first level 100s were achieved, just by spamming this dungeon over and over and over again. And I've done this quite a lot to basically get my level up so I can build my Paragon board. In addition, roughly every 6 to 8 hours, a world boss will spawn in a couple locations. I think they can spawn in this location. There's like an arena over here. I think that there's a boss arena down here as well. And basically, the world boss is just an optional thing that you can go ahead and do. There's like a notification, gives you like a 30-minute notice. You head over there, you kill the world boss. It's typically pretty easy with like 10 other people. You kind of just destroy it. And the good part about the world boss is that it's going to give you these things, the scattered prisms, which are used to put sockets into your gear. So it is important to try to do the world boss. However, if you have a bunch of these, you don't need to always be doing the world boss. The rewards itself from doing the world boss are not that significant. Sometimes you will also find these Legion events. They spawn kind of randomly. And I haven't done too many of them, but from what I understand, they're mainly for cosmetics. You kind of just run around with like 10 other people, one-shotting a lot of mobs. They're super, super easy to do. The gear is pretty lackluster. Again, I've heard that these are mainly just like a side event to do, and they do drop cosmetics. So, if cosmetics is something you like and something you want to chase for, definitely try to get these every time you see them up. Finally, of course, you do have PvP as an option. There are two PvP zones located here as well as here in the desert. And basically, you'll be running around. You'll be completing some events there. PvP is always enabled, so just be careful. You can get killed by enemies, and as you kill monsters, you'll be getting red. You'll be basically be getting red dust that you'll have to convert at a shrine inside this. There's basically a 40-second window. Once you click it, it will tell everybody in the zone like, "Hey, I'm converting it." But once you've actually converted it, you'll get permanent red dust, which you can use and spend at the vendors in the PvP towns. This is also a good option. However, PvP is enabled, so that's just a risk that you're going to have to take. So that's basically all of the systems. Again, I would really recommend do your Helltides, get your Renown done, farm XP if you want to, and then Nightmare Dungeons are another really fun choice, and they're going to be buffed soon as well to be some of the best experience in the game. So give these a try, get your character up to speed. Remember, do your capstone dungeons as soon as possible so you can unlock the new world tiers and start getting better and better gear. Thanks, guys, for watching. Hopefully, this helped. And if you have any questions, let me know down below. I'll try to answer them as soon as possible.